Hello and welcome back to our very second spoiler cast that Shapeless Gaming has ever done. We're going to be doing things a little bit differently today. It's kind of part TV, part game related, where we're going to be doing a spoiler cast of the latest Black Mirror episode, which is a Black Mirror event called Bandersnatch. It just came out the other day on Netflix, and Tori, I got to tell you, I'm smitten.
I'm smitten as well.
I'm smitten as well that we have kind of reached this point where we're kind of integrating
the line between like game and film were like blended in such a unique way here that I've never seen
perfectly too.
Yeah.
Like I think the biggest thing with Bandersnatch that I just kind of want to like push out of the way is that this very well could have been like, I see what they were going for. It was a good shot.
Yeah.
Like, but it didn't quite hit.
Yeah, like fun idea.
Fun idea, but the fact that their first swing at it went so well, like it functioned as a kind of Detroit aspect, like choose your own adventure, but also functioned as this is also great television
like
at the same time.
Like this is a great show, movie, film, whatever you want to call it for that. Like,
and first of all, Black Mirror is the perfect setting to do this with. Black Mirror, you could not ask for like a better setting to place this kind of like technologically driven new format into, because it's already set up for that as like, we're blurring the lines of what technology can do.
I mean, that's what the entire basis of the show, like even though nothing's connected, it's all about that, like, what is technology?
And how do we interact with it, and how does it
affect us for positive or negative?
Yeah.
And this is the perfect medium, the perfect vehicle for this type of interactive storytelling in the way of film.
So if you haven't watched it, I highly recommend you do.
But it's a spoiler cast. Like,
it's a spoiler cast.
Watch it.
But if you're not that interested, stick around. We're going to kind of do a premise of it right now.
Yep.
So Bandersnatch follows your character in 1984. His name is Stefan. Stefan is kind of an early programmer, video game developer during that retro era where it was just joystick and, kind of those 8-bit games. You have this idea to create a video game based on this kind of best-selling book, Choose Your Own Adventure book, that was written by a literal insane person. And you are kind of probed by this company to be like, hey, we love this idea. We want your game. Like, come write this with us. But the show takes you, I don't even know what to call it. Like, show.
I think for ease of speaking, let's just say show.
Yeah.
And we'll know what we mean, but yeah.
The show kind of takes you on like this journey of the company buys the rights to Bandersnatch, the game that you're creating. They let you work on it by yourself to kind of really let you be the sole creator of it. And it's your process of, you're following this very mentally ill person who is having what we don't even know is, are they delusions? Are they real? You have no idea what's real and what's not in Bandersnatch. So you're watching this show totally unsure of if what you're choosing affects real life or if it's just a dream you're having, because Stefan is psychotic.
Yeah.
Like, Stefan is slowly kind of delving into this like hysteria and delusions.
And it's not just even about the process of like developing the game and like the delusions, but it's also like dealing with the trauma in the past and that type of kind of emotional baggage that he's carried his whole life as well. Like, that comes through in this story as well.
And that's what's so great, is it's like, it's not just base level, like, it's a choose your own adventure, it's kind of base level. Like, there are multitudes to this episode where like things that you have to think of and things that you have to kind of keep in mind when you're making your choices. And the goal of the show is to kind of get a perfect rating on your game. Like from the game reviewers of the time, your kind of end goal is to make the perfect game and to do justice to the book and kind of guide Stefan along into making the right choices to create the perfect game.
Right.
And everything that happens alongside it with like, you know, there are supporting characters of your therapist, your father, a fellow video game developer, and they all try and like guide you onto different paths, and you have to select the best one to kind of get you to the perfect game, essentially. And so that's kind of the synopsis of the episode.
Yeah.
And what I think is perfect for the setting of Black Mirror and for what they had you do is it's so self-aware. Yeah. It's so like they had the episode, the very first like choose your own adventure episode based on a choose your own adventure book and someone creating a choose your own adventure game.
Based off of it, yep.
Yeah, so the whole premise is that you are supposed to be choosing your own adventure, and Stefan feels as if he's not making his own life choices because this invisible hand is guiding him. And he's self-aware that someone is controlling him, and he very much kind of has the hints that it's you or this secret government agency.
Right, and that's where like the mental delusions start to come into play as well. But it's also like if you go back and make another decision, or you choose a different path, like you decide to go back in the episode and choose a different path for Stefan to take, he will be self-aware that the events that are always going to be the same have already happened. He's aware that he's already had this conversation, or that this problem's going to go wrong with the computer, and he knows what the problem is because he's already been through it. And
what I loved is that as you move along the episode, and if you make kind of mistakes that lead to dead ends, and you revisit the same scenarios, it kind of gives you like flashbacks of like, I'm familiar with what's going to happen here. And there's one character, the fellow video game developer, who kind of turns you on to this psychosis. Like the first time you meet him, he says something like, oh, we've never met before. And then you go back to that situation. He's like, we've met before.
Yep.
And then if you go back to it a third time, he knows your name. He knows what you're going to say. And he's kind of like, we haven't met in this timeline yet. So he's fully aware.
Yeah, he becomes aware along with Stefan in that.
Yeah, and what I love is that backdrop of, one, the choose your own adventure, the secret government agency and the testing, and then 3, the time is not a straight line.
Yeah.
Time is like, like sometimes you feel like with deja vu, there's an invisible hand that's pushing you to do certain things.
Right.
And Stefan, like when he gets to those things again, where it's like the same choice rises up, like when you choose something, his hand starts to like go to do it, and he's trying to stop it because he's like, I'm not doing this. Like,
right. And then you realize like even just like the details on how they film it, such as like when you go back and you are meeting Colin, the fellow game developer, for the first time, or there's like a shot of him with his hand kind of shaking as he's trying to like type on the keyboard, like to finish his nosedive game or whatever. And it's kind of weird. Like it's not crazy shaking, but you can see he's like kind of trembling a little bit. And it's like, huh. That was like a weird close up, but okay. It just holds for like half a second and then it's gone.
The big illusion with this is that there's this secret government kind of organization or test called PAC, which is like Programming and Control Studies.
Yep.
Which is essentially like Pac-Man. Like Pac-Man thinks he has free will, and you're guiding him through this maze, eating up all the little pills, but he's never in control. Even if he escapes those ghosts and you get to the next thing, like you escape the maze, he's just in another maze.
Yep.
Pac-Man has no free will, and Stefan has no free will because you are playing Pac-Man with him.
Yeah, you are controlling his actions through the...
And just the, like, kind of the technical side of it is just astounding because the shots are so seamless. After you make your decision, like, everything plays out. Like, when that timer... Because you're on a time basis. It doesn't just hold a shot like someone just...
Yeah,
it continues the story as you're making your choice, and you kind of have to pick it, and you let the timer run out, and then your decision is made. And it's so seamless.
Yeah.
It's so well...
It's incredibly well integrated onto a streaming platform, which is insane.
And it's so unbelievable because they have little thumbnails. Like once you pause it, it's not like the typical Netflix screen where, you know, you can scroll back 10 seconds. When you pause it, there's little thumbnails at the bottom, which allow you to go back to previous choices.
Yep.
Like you can select previous choices if you're like, fuck, shouldn't have done that. But it'll automatically redirect you. Like when you hit a dead end, it'll let you know. It'll go into a game review of the game, and then it'll have you go back to a previous decision and fix it. Like kind of do the right one to lead you down a thing.
Yeah. So now that like the kind of concept and premise is like stated, you want to get into like the nitty gritty a little bit?
I absolutely want to get into the nitty gritty. You kill your dad. You absolutely have to force Stefan to kill his father because he's going through this. And again, it's so well done because you don't know if it's an illusion. You don't know if it's real, but you kind of have this vision that your dad is this tester. Like he works for like this government control and he's conducting this study on you, like induced a trauma on you and is seeing how this plays out. And you wake up, but you don't know, like, is it real? Is this actually happening?
Yeah.
Or was that one of his delusions? And what did you do with the dad's body? Because that's the big one, like, that I've seen on, like, social media of, like, oh, fuck, I didn't even get a choice. Like, I either had to chop up the dad or bury the dad.
Oh, I guess I didn't do everything because I didn't have any of those options.
Really?
I hit him with the thing, and then it just was like a scene of him patching up like the pile of dirt over him, and then you heard sirens kind of coming in the background, and Stefan was dirty and kind of like looked around, and then just cut.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that how it ended for you?
I did because I made every choice where it was like kill your dad, I always chose not to kill him.
Okay.
I never chose to do it on my own free will. It eventually got to the point where it was like, well, you're killing him.
Okay, so I didn't do it once, and that happened to me. Like, it's a shot outside, and you're kind of patching it up.
Yep.
And the other time I went through it, I chose to kill him, and then it gives you the choice, like, okay, you going to chop him up, or are you going to bury him? And Stefan is just kind of, like, looking at the sky, like, what do I do? Like asking you directly for advice.
Whoa.
And then you select like either bury or chop up. And I did both. But my first one was, I'm going to chop up the body. Come on, that's the only way to get rid of it.
Yeah.
So I chop up the body and he's kind of like, once the timer runs out, he's like, oh, fucking seriously? And then you just like see him like
kind of just like, I'll do whatever. I guess like,
yeah, that's kind of the point where he like realizes like once you pull that trigger on you select kill your dad, it's like he's fully now listening to you. Like he's not trying to fight it. He acknowledges that someone is controlling his life.
The entire story from like start to finish and the way it reflects what you're doing, like your input to it, to the point where you become a character is insane. Because it starts off like, hey, how cool is this? Do you want Sugar Puffs or do you want Frosties? And then by the end, it's like you're his god.
Yeah.
And it's fucking creepy.
It's creepy as shit because you are
it takes on such a crazy meta to it. The way that it evolves is like seamless too.
That's what I don't get is Charlie Brooker or Booker, whoever is the broker.
I think so.
Whoever writes, because it's the same person that writes every single episode of Black Mirror, is a fucking insane person. Like, there is no godly reason that should have been that good.
Yeah.
And so well integrated with every single fucking choice of like, how in the fuck do you anticipate and like create these storylines and make them so seamless?
Yeah.
Like, everything makes sense.
I think part of it comes from his background being a games journalist.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That has to have some influence on it.
It's got to have some influence.
Like, he has like a deep understanding of like how the person's input on the media can change the experience you have. I would imagine just because it's too
good.
well done.
It's too good. I'll just say it. It's too good.
Yeah.
And it's got that perfect self-awareness. Like when you decide to chop up your dad's body, it's got the perfect self-awareness where Stefan is realizing I'm not in control. I'm just going to listen to my fucking overlord voice.
Yep.
And they are going to guide me to where I need to be.
I want to reel it back, and I want to kind of take on the story bit by bit a little bit rather than literally jumping right to the end.
Okay.
So you start off, you're going to pitch your game to Tuckersoft, I believe it was called.
Yep.
And you get the decision of like, hey, we want to offer you this job. We'll give you desks. We'll hire a team for you. What did you initially do when it was like, take the job at the office?
I took the job because I thought that's what Stefan would want.
And then immediately after you click the button, you realize, fuck, this was a bad decision.
The other character, the other game developer, just like goes up to you, pats your shoulder, and is like, wrong choice, mate.
Yeah. And you're like, they knew we were going to say that.
Yeah.
I think that, because that's like the first major decision outside of like, what music are you going to choose and what cereal are you going to eat and stuff. And that was like, okay, here's where the consequences happen.
And that led you to your first dead end, because then it shows you like sitting there on Christmas when the game comes out, and it's like, honestly, it's a 1 out of 5. It's a great concept, but you could tell it's worked on by a team that wasn't well organized, didn't know what they were doing. So then it leads you back to that decision where you have to refuse, and then it goes from there where it's just, it allows Stefan to work by himself and just to completely devolve into madness on his own.
Yep.
And like, what kind of jumping back to the end here.
Okay.
When you chop up your dad's body, how the big thing was like the author decapitated his wife after like creating the game because he got so caught up in the conspiracy that he was writing that he believed it to be real.
Yeah.
Which it could be. We don't know.
Yeah.
You're like finishing up the game and like designing it and everything, and you just subtly see your dad's head on your shelf. Like,
holy.
Like just bleeding out.
Are you
like,
serious?
Yeah. Just the dad's head is like laying on the shelf, and you just kind of like look back at it and you're like, and you finish your game, and then it shows the holiday season review, and it's like, it's a perfect game. It's got everything you could ever want. All the choices are so well laid out. And that's what gives you a 5 out of 5 game, is when you decapitate your dad.
Yeah, highest I got was like a 3.5 or something.
Yeah, you get a 5 out of 5 if you chop up your dad and then have his head to like complete the author's cycle.
Yeah.
And then after that game review, it pulls up a shot from that. Like it doesn't go back into 1984, like when it's showing that watching the TV. It pulls up from the TV and it's a modern newscast that's just like, that was the game Bandersnatch, which released in 1984 holiday season. It was very quickly pulled off the shelves after when it was realized that the game developer had murdered his father, and like went into the story. But then where the controversy lies today is that game is being recreated for the modern era, and it shows the daughter of your fellow game developer.
Yeah.
Like, what was his name? Colin?
Yeah, Colin.
Yeah. Colin. It shows his daughter that you kind of see in the show.
Pearl, yeah.
Yeah. Like Pearl designing the new game for the modern era.
Yeah.
And being like, kind of like realizing the conspiracy within it as well.
Yeah.
Like then you start controlling her, and it's like, what the fuck? This goes so goddamn deep.
How much further into that? Is it just like one decision with her?
It's like one decision.
Okay.
Where it's just kind of like, you control her for a second and then it ends, and that's your perfect ending.
That's cool. Yeah, I thought I did all of them. Goes deeper than I thought.
That's what I'm amazed, is that I thought I did everything, but then I was like reading on like Reddit and social medias that like people were encountering decisions that I never got to, and I thought I went through the whole thing. So it's not so simple. It's way deeper than you think.
Yeah.
But then they have that, again, self-aware meta of like Stefan kind of crafting the game, and he kind of like, when you get the perfect 5-star game, you get this aside from him that's kind of like, I figured it out. Like I'm only giving the players the illusion of free will, and I control their fate. So he's kind of taking on your role for everyone else. Like while they're playing the game, they're in his reality. There's really only a few endings, but a bunch of ways to get to it. And he's like, really, I'm just giving them the illusion of free will. I control them. And it's again, how do they create that perfect self-awareness?
I don't know.
But like, there's also that kind of self-awareness where, like, when he's asking for a sign, like, he kind of realizes someone's controlling him, and he's like, who are you? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, what do you want from me? Like, just fucking give me a sign.
Yeah.
And you can either show him, like, this weird ominous symbol that will lead him further into conspiracy, or there's an option for Netflix. And I was like, what the fuck is Netflix?
Like, yeah, that seems kind of dumb.
I was like, is it going to show like Black Mirror or something, or is it actually going to be Netflix? So you choose Netflix, and then it's like, I am controlling you on Netflix. And
Yeah,
he's like,
a 21st century streaming service like TV, but online. And it's like all popping up on his like Commodore 64 computer.
yeah, it's like showing on this like old school fucking computer, like this like typing thing where it's like trying to explain Netflix to this person. Like trying to explain Netflix to someone in 1984. And then he turns around to his dad and he's like, someone on Netflix is controlling me.
Yeah.
And he's like, what's Netflix? I don't fucking know.
And then his dad's like, you want me to call the therapist? Yes, please, Dad.
Yeah, that's the only time he's like, yep, let's go see the therapist. And then the therapist is talking and she's like, but if someone from TV was controlling you, don't you think it'd be more interesting? Like
you're just in a boring, ordinary room with just having a boring conversation. How is that entertaining for anyone?
Like, don't you agree it'd be far more entertaining? And then there's two choices after she says that. There's yeah and fuck yeah. You select fuck yeah, and it triggers this like totally self-aware action scene where like suddenly everyone is good at karate.
Yeah.
She pulls out two batons and she's like,
like, and then it gives you the option, like, fight her. So
or like jump out the window.
You like go in, you're punching her and like throwing each other over chairs and stuff. Then your dad busts in and he picks you up by the throat, and you have the option to like kick him in the balls or karate chop him. And
it's totally self-aware of like, we're gonna give you just like a funny action scene.
Like we'll give you one thing where it's like,
this is ridiculous.
We understand. Like we understand this is how it could have been, but we did the rest of it really well. Like, and that's only like one.
So perfect.
Yeah.
I honestly think that makes it better too, is that they still integrated like a ridiculous aspect of it to be like, okay, this is a very serious plot, a very serious TV show. You can kind of go off path for a little bit, do something fun.
Yeah. Like it's almost like weirdly kind of a video gamey thing. Like, let's get a ridiculous thing in there too. But
it plays like a video game. It's so weird.
And I think, the reason that was the path that leads you to like the really ridiculous little tidbit is because it gave you the two options, Netflix or the ominous symbol. If you are invested in this story and you're looking to play that story, you're going to click the ominous symbol. If you are like, I don't really care, this is goofy, you're gonna pick Netflix. Like you're gonna pick, it's literally the Netflix logo, right? Yeah. So it's like, they knew like if you chose that, you would either played through it your path the first time, or you were like not you weren't really
you were just kind of
invested.
like, I'm just kind of trying to see what the fuck is going on here.
Yeah,
like it's a big event.
Yeah,
like
so it was like, there you go.
They even call it such. It's a Black Mirror event, and I hope they make more in the future.
Yeah,
because this was so good.
The plot at first, I was like, I had the thought in the back of my mind that was like, this is a little bit on the nose. The fact that it's like choose your own adventure and then he's making the thing and then the actual show about that is a choose your own adventure show. But they did it so well that it didn't come across as like cheesy or on the nose or, oh, of course they did.
It made sense.
It was like, this is cool.
They integrated the choose your own adventure Netflix event into a television series that
and it's also for
that.
people who don't play games too. Like it's very much accessible to them, and the fact that the plot reflects what's going on, I'm sure helped a lot of people who are not used to like the choose your Telltale, like the Telltale or Detroit style thing. They were like, oh, I kind of get this now.
Yeah,
the choose your own adventure book, I get it.
It works for again, the dude who writes it is a goddamn genius. Because it works for everyone. For people who are fans of like video games, they understand the format. It's really fun for them. It's fucking cool for them. It's like, holy shit, they hit choose your adventure on the nose.
Yeah.
And then for people who have no idea what the fuck is going on.
Yep.
They might just do it as like this is kind of a cool thing. I don't play video games, but this is weird. It's going to make sense to them. Like, it's going to make sense for everyone. It's either going to be really self-aware and really good, or just really good.
Yeah.
You might not get all the self-aware
just
humor.
Nailed it. Yeah.
One thing that I thought was really, like, kind of crazy about it was they didn't just go as far as to, like, integrate choices in with, you know, how you're selecting your adventure. They go as far as to integrate the controller vibrations into the episode.
That was what blew my mind. How did they integrate vibration, like controller vibration support, into Netflix? That's wild, isn't it?
No fucking clue. I'm sure it hits a certain time marker, and then it...
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's how they... But I'm just like... something about that is really crazy. Just the fact that it worked. Because, like, if you're playing on a... You don't have to be watching it on a game console to play it. Like, you could do it on your computer. You can do it on your remote if you have a smart TV or whatever. But the fact that they could recognize if you were on an Xbox or a PlayStation and integrate that vibration support, that's just a cool technical feature to it.
The technical... I just want to give a huge round of applause for the technical team that had to create this episode.
Yeah.
Because they have totally revolutionized what television can be. And they have totally... Like, this is going to be like one of those things where you can, like, clearly point back to a moment in history and be like, this changed the game.
This is what did it, yeah. And, God, I just can't get over how perfect, like... But not only is it, like, a cool, like, interesting story and stuff like that, like... And, it's, you know, it's fun because it's interactive. Beautifully shot. Great music. Great sound design. Acting is phenomenal.
It's so well shot that it's almost, like, ridiculous. Like, it's stupid. Like, it should not...
Whoever the lighting designer was, superb.
I mean, just as far as, like, you should not be able to, like, have something be able to take so many different things and have so many different shots have to be accounted for. Yeah. Like, your shot list is going to be fucking insane. Like, they actually had to draw the graph of, like, this choice, this choice, this choice, this choice. Like, they had to do the branches and then do all of the cinematography work and the acting work and the lighting work for every single situation that you can choose.
Yeah.
Fucking wild.
Yeah.
Editor... fucking insane.
Like, give him a raise.
Give the editor a raise. I don't care if he's making $14 billion an episode. Give him a raise to $15 billion an episode. Because how much it still resembled a TV show.
Yeah. I mean, it just was a TV show, but you got to choose what happened with the character in it, which is, for a lot of people...
I'm still reeling.
You're reeling?
I'm reeling from it. And what I loved all of the... Like, it's not just actions you can do. It's also, like, kind of dialogue-based as well. Like, what do you want him to say? What do you want him to act like? Mm-hmm. And...
Yeah, let's kind of, like, try and, like, walk it back. Because we're still both just, like... Like, for the story, then, when it came to... Let's say the part where it was, like...
Nosedive?
Yeah.
Off the balcony? Mm-hmm. So, my first instinct...
Sorry, hold on. Let me take it back, actually. Did you choose, the first time, did you choose to go into the therapist office or follow Colin?
Follow Colin.
Oh, okay. I didn't the first time.
Oh, really?
I mean, I went back and did the Colin one, but...
Colin was a much more interesting story.
Oh, definitely. Because that was where, like, the meta really took over.
Yeah, that's where, like, the conspiracy and, like... fucking government secret agency, like, kind of the self-aware of, like, you're playing something right now. Mm-hmm. That kind of came in. I didn't go to the therapist because my thought process was, I don't know why Colin would be here other than, like, I have to go do that. Like, that's something that's, like, I don't want to go to the therapist. My dad's a dick. Yeah. I hate you, Dad. Yeah. I'm not going to a therapist.
Yeah.
I'm going to play games with my friends.
Colin, want to play games?
Yeah, that was kind of my thinking, but then they took drugs and got all spacey. I took the LSD.
Yeah, oh yeah, me too.
Yeah, there was no way I wasn't going to take the LSD.
Because he sits down and he's like, Yeah, he's in the hole of, we're going to fix him up or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he just
He's in the hole.
whips, he whips out a joint and then he just pulls out some LSD and is
And
like,
he's like, teaches you how to do it. But
but
then
he was like, I don't know why I appreciated this, but he was very much like not trying to influence you. He was like, here's the drug. If you want it, it's your choice. You don't have to do it. Like, don't feel any pressure at all. Like, I'm going to do it, but you don't have to. Yeah.
it's great for his character, but it's also great in the context of this because he is the only one aware of this Pac-Man situation.
Yeah, where
he's kind of like, he's talking almost through Stefan.
Yeah, he's like talking to you through them.
Yeah.
It's really...
Colin is the character who understands what's going on, and he speaks through Stefan to you.
Yeah.
Which is unbelievable. But then, what happened when you went to the therapist the first time? Like, if you didn't go see Colin.
You kind of talk more about what's happening. You up your dosage.
Okay. So it's the same path, because I did that after and got the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's the same path, but like...
You just skip the Colin stuff.
Yeah, you skip the Colin stuff. And the Colin stuff ended up maybe being an illusion, maybe being a dream.
Yeah.
Who knows? Because after you kind of talk this conspiracy with Colin, who's working on a game called Nosedive, which is also an episode of Black Mirror. Like, that's a title of the episode with Bryce Dallas Howard.
Is that what it's called?
Yep, it's called Nosedive.
Okay.
And the other thing is Metalhead.
Yep, that's from the other one.
Yep.
Yeah. It's not the episode title, but that's what they were called. Or was it called Metalhead?
It was called Metalhead.
Oh, okay.
And those are the creatures from it. So, like,
dog things.
Again, just more evidence that Black Mirror is kind of like pushing you, like, we're an anthology series that takes place in the same world.
Yeah.
It's a connected universe.
As
or maybe
as
it's...
if Black Museum wasn't a big enough tip-off of like, hey, it's connected.
Or, like, it could also be, like, maybe not the same universe, but parallel universes.
Oh my god, dude, this changes everything.
Yeah.
Because it's like the BioShock Infinite thing of like, it's the multiverse theory.
That's the whole thing with this episode, too.
I know,
is that for every choice you make, there is a separate choice where, like, because Colin even tells you, like, in this timeline, this is what you did. Like,
yeah,
there's other timelines.
I didn't even think about how this affects the wider BMU. You know?
The Black Mirror EU.
Yeah.
The extended universe of Black Mirror.
Yeah.
When are we going to get spin-off series?
It's, to be honest, probably anyway. So with the Colin stuff, the Nosedive thing, what did you pick?
At first, because you get this prompt that's like, one of us has to jump. One of us has got to kill ourselves. One of us has to jump. But it doesn't matter, because in another timeline, you're still alive.
Yeah.
And I jumped at first because I was like, I wanted to choose Colin jump, but my girlfriend was like, no. Have Stefan jump, because then he breaks out of this, like...
So you're a huge pushover is what you're saying, and you don't stick to your guns.
I mostly stick to my guns. But that one, like, the theory made sense, because she thought of it as, like, if Stefan jumps, then he'll wake up and realize, oh shit, this is an illusion. Someone is controlling my fate. I have no free will. So, like, you can jump and kill yourself. Sorry, you're not dead, though. Like, you have to go back.
Yeah, kind of like a Pac-Man thing.
Kind of like a Pac-Man thing of, like, to show Stefan you have no free will and kind of prove the theory to him. Mm-hmm. Didn't go as planned.
Dead end.
Yep. You're just dead.
Yeah.
However, then I went back to Colin jumping, and then you, like, wake up. Like, you're jolted awake, so you don't know if it was a dream or not.
Like a monster attacks you
Yeah.
at one point, but you're still tripping, so it's like that's even more meta because you're on drugs, you don't know if it's a dream because he kind of wakes up, you don't know if that whole thing was a dream, and then it also becomes so meta with what Colin's saying to you that it's like,
and it takes on the form
I don't know what's happening right now, but
it's the game that you're making. Like, the demon that appears is the demon from the game.
And he's talking about his game, sort of.
Yeah. It's easy to get caught up in this. It's very easy to, like...
And the more I'm, like,
try and, like, attach the red yarn, but then you have to, like, keep moving it. Like, wait a second.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, wait. Yeah, like, it's just more and more of that, like, the more we're talking about it. So then, then Colin's dead. Well,
not actually,
but
because that timeline is then over.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a dead end, but that timeline is done, and you wake up the next morning and Colin is missing but still alive. Like,
they don't know that. They said, we don't know where he is. We don't know what's happening. He probably just went off to Amsterdam again. He's done it before.
Yeah.
But it's still kind of like, well, what if, it's only been like a day or two. Like, what if he is dead?
The other thing is that death scene was brutal.
You watch his body hit the ground. Like, you see the entire shot of him falling off the building, hitting the ground, and then laying there dead.
And, like, blood just, like...
Yeah.
Like, you just see this, like... And I don't know how they did that, because it looked like it's one continuous shot where he, like, kind of goes over, and then it, like, shows him falling.
Yeah.
And it's just all one shot where you just, like, see it, and it's just like... Dude, how do they do that? It's crazy.
Again, editor... It's not the same editor. It's a VFX artist, but
wizard.
Like, good job on that. And like, it does get brutal. Like when you hit your dad with the ashtray.
Here's my thing. Would that kill you? I kept trying to like think about this. Like,
I mean, you hit him right on the temple and like
you hit him right on the temple, but like it's
hard.
just glass, like a cigarette butt.
Yeah, it's like a crystal, like heavy crystal bottomed.
Yeah, but like my big thing was like, would that kill you? Okay, here's my thing. It's not would it kill you, because I know blunt force trauma to like the right spot of the head will just fucking lights out. Mm-hmm. But there was so much blood that like immediately like rushed out. Is that realistic?
Yeah.
Is there that much blood?
Yeah.
Like in your head? I don't know, because I've seen someone's... Okay, I don't think I've ever talked about this on any Shapeless stuff. I had to kind of like emergency... tourniquet and like hold on to someone's like blood vessel in their leg, because the only thing keeping their foot attached to their leg was skin from here to here. They had torn through the muscle, shattered the bone, and I had to like lay on them and tourniquet, and I had blood all over me. But here's the thing. Is that they're fine. They didn't lose the foot. They got pins in it. They're good. It's because I saved the day. You're welcome.
For the record, that is my least favorite of your stories.
Yeah.
Because
that is, Tori, can you please back me up? That is 100% true story.
It's 100% a true story. There's footage to back it up.
There is actual
we will never
footage.
Release it.
We will never release it, but there is footage of me keeping this man's foot on his leg.
He had his cape on and everything.
Yeah.
Should have seen him.
You're welcome. Fly off. No, but even when I was like doing that, like when this man's foot was off of his body, the blood wasn't like it didn't spray out. It was like very slowly just kind of like oozing. Like the blood wasn't just like this fucking fountain that just unleashed.
I don't know if I think the amount was accurate. I don't know if it would have come out that quickly. I don't know if it would have been like and then like washed down his face. But
yeah,
like,
that was my big thing.
I've also never seen someone smashed with a crystal ashtray. So
do you want to?
Yeah,
I can make that happen.
Cool. We'll get to that later. And that, oh my God, what if in the Spoilercast then things popped up and it said, should Tyler kill Tori? Yes. No. Stay tuned for the Shapeless Choose Your Own Adventure video series, where we use YouTube's interactive cards to lead you to the next video in your series.
Wait, that's not possible. Is it?
It wouldn't be as seamless as the Netflix one. We could use the little eye thing where it pops up like a choice.
Let's look into that. We'd have to make it really short, but let's look into that.
It's kind of a cool idea.
That is kind of a cool idea. No one take that. That's our idea.
Okay. Sure.
But there are, in the episode, they kind of like lead you to that conclusion of, yes, this is a choose your own adventure, but they kind of have that thing where you're not in control even. Netflix is in control. You're always going to have kind of a similar outcome.
Yeah.
You're given the illusion of free will even when you're choosing the options. It's so many layers of hierarchy of like who chooses what for who, because you kind of realize that there's only a certain amount of outcomes you can get.
Yeah.
Like, but they do it in such a way that's not like lazy, like, oh, I understand. This is kind of like a thing. It it almost adds to the story that there's only a few outcomes.
It's just like in those types of games where it's the big thing that's always kind of tossed around if you're reading like reviews or whatever. It's like games give you the illusion of choice. You have a couple options to choose from, but you're going to eventually get back to the main path, whether that branch that you took is a little blip or if it's a huge branch.
Or except in Detroit. That's the one game where it's like, oh, you're dead, you're dead.
Yeah.
Like,
there is that.
There are so many different outcomes.
Yes, but it's like that same thing of like, we're giving, here's what will allow you to choose between. You're not choosing what you want to do. You're choosing what are the options do you want to do based off what we decide you can do. So it's like that illusion of choice.
Who's got the cooler hair? Connor from Detroit Become Human or Stefan from Black Mirror Bandersnatch?
He's got good hair.
He's got great hair.
It's thick and it's full. I'm still going to have to go with Cute Boy Connor, but,
I think he gives Cute Boy Connor a run for his money. I think they're definitely the finalists in the Miss America pageant. But Connor still takes the crown.
He's gotta, yeah.
And as much as I want to say, Stefan also gives him a run for his money with that jacket, but Connor's jacket takes the cake.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't even put that on the same echelon, okay? Connor's jacket.
It's different styles.
So, Tyler, there's a thing called Black Mirror we were talking about for a little while.
Oh, yeah.
What are the other, key decisions? I mean, there's, do you type in toy or pack? When you go into your dad's office and stuff like that? What did you do? I guess
the first time I typed in Pax.
Me too.
The demon. And then it just ends up you don't get in the safe and the demon appears and then you fucking jolt up and it's kind of like a dead end.
Oh, I didn't even have that option the first time I did it.
Pax? You didn't have Pax?
I had Pack.
I had Pax?
I had that the second time. I never chose it though.
And then when I went back, because that was kind of a dead end, choosing Pax.
Yeah, with an X.
With an X. And then the demon kind of appeared, and then you kind of jolt up, and then you have to redo it.
Yeah.
Then there was pack or toy. Then I did toy just because I wanted to see what it would be. And that one was just kind of like you go back into your childhood, and you decide, do I want to take the 8:45 train? But you know that it crashes because you've been in that timeline before.
Yeah.
Or then once that was over, that actually can lead you to the end.
That was a cool little thing, I thought.
That one actually can, selecting toy can lead you to the end.
Yeah.
But then I went back and I was like, that one was just kind of I wanted to check it out because I thought it would be a dead end because it only showed up the second time.
Yeah.
Whereas Pack was a mainstay. So I was like, okay, well, obviously Pack is the right choice, but I just kind of want to see. But it led me to the end.
Yep.
But then I did Pack, and then that's where you kind of get this idea that your dad is conducting a study on you, and you find all these tapes and recordings that your mom didn't actually ever exist. It was just an induced trauma.
Yeah.
He drugged you, put you in this room that was a replica of the room that you live in now.
Yep.
And showed you this thing. And then that one, that's where it led me to be you want to back off or you want to kill your dad? And I was like, I'll kill him. I'll fucking do it. To me, it wasn't even oh, does Stefan want to kill the dad? It's I am a god. I decide. It gave me a god complex.
Yeah, that's when I did that, I was like, no, back off. Don't, because I was like, don't fall into this same trap that the author did and stuff. Because you get that documentary about him that Colin gives you and stuff, which is just another hint that he is so self-aware about this whole thing.
Yeah, because you are following the path of the author.
Yeah. It's just like this cycle that's just going to keep repeating itself with this property.
To me, I was like, well, if I want a good game, he had to kill his wife. I got to kill the dad.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in a great game than keeping a family together. Sorry, libs. That's just the way it goes. You do what you got to do. Stand your ground, Stefan.
Jesus. So then you just killed him, chopped him up, kept his head, made a good game.
Yeah, and that's basically what led you to the end. Was you select Pack, you kind of confront your dad of he tells you you weren't supposed to see that.
Yeah,
and then you wake up.
Yep.
and then you kill your dad. You chop him up. You make a great game. Bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah.
Made a great game.
Well, good for you. At the
Exactly.
expense of your dad.
But just the fact that they had those layers where you can, there's a few different things. Oh, did you get to the point where you can select the number to dial for your therapist? And how it was dropping hints through the episode what the number was, because she always says, you know my number. And then you're like thinking back on like the words that she says, and there's like numbers kind of hidden in it, and you're just like, oh shit.
Yep.
But you can dial any number.
Yeah.
Which is fucked up.
Uh-huh.
How do they do that? I thought it was just going to be more like yes or no, but then it gave you a full like 0 through 9. Like, what are you dialing? It tells you kind of what to dial.
Right.
But you can dial whatever.
Did you try dialing something
Yeah,
random?
I tried dialing something else, and it actually did the number.
What?
Yeah.
Like showed a shot of him typing the wrong number?
Showed a shot of him typing the number. I think it was a dead signal, though. Like, it was a dead end.
Okay.
But then, did you get to a point where you bury your dad, and then Colin comes over to your house?
No.
Oh, that's one of the lines, is that Tucker, the kind of CEO of the game development thing, he calls you, and he's like, I need that game tonight. I gave you the weekend. Come on, where is it? Is it going to be done tonight?
Yeah.
And you're like looking at your dad's body, and you're like, yep. And then you go back into the house, and you're like, then you see Tucker and Colin talking, and Colin's like, you shouldn't push him too hard. He needs time to complete it. It's a masterpiece. Like, he needs his time. And then Tucker tells Colin, like, go and check on him. Like, I understand he might need more time. I'm just going to give the illusion of rushing him. You go talk to him and kind of guide his hand.
Yeah.
And Colin comes over, like, knocks on the door, like, while you're dragging your dad's body out. And then he opens the door, kind of sees the body, and he's like, well, show me the game. Like, doesn't care, because he knows that's the path that you have to follow. And then you kind of like address him in your room like, I killed my dad. And he's like, saw it coming. So, you gonna kill me? Or you gonna let me live? And then the
prompt
choice
comes up?
The prompt comes up where you can kill Colin or let him live. The most interesting one is you let him live, and he's so self-aware. Like, while the timer's running down, he's like, it's your choice. I don't care either way. Obviously, it's up to you. What are you going to do? And I chose, like, let him live. And he's like, well, he's like, it's like a shot, like a really close-up shot on his face. And he's kind of like looking into you. And he's like, well, I'm sure that was anticlimactic, but much appreciated. And he just walks out.
That's so cool. Like, him as a character for this particular,
like,
that was so smartly done.
Yeah, like, he kind of is the fourth wall breaker.
Yeah.
Like, he almost addresses, he doesn't speak, like we talked about earlier, he doesn't speak to Stefan. He speaks to you through Stefan.
Yeah.
Which reminds me of Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Like the earlier kind of Desmond games. You know, the good games.
Yeah. The ones where it'd be like Minerva speaking to you or whatever.
Yeah, speaking to Desmond through Ezio.
Right, yeah.
Not, you know,
not
the shitty...
to you as the player, but like to...
Yeah, to Desmond. But, you know, all good things must end, and
I guess
Assassin's Creed's in the shitter now, so... But at least Black Mirror is good.
Yeah, at least that.
Like, that's my new game. Now when people ask me, hey, what's your favorite game of all time? Black Mirror Bandersnatch.
It's probably the best game I've played, yeah.
Were there any other lines that you had in it that were
I'm
like
trying to
any
think of...
story-based things? Or if we're done with story, then we can kind of wrap up on the technical, because...
Yeah, I think as far as story goes, like, I thought I had played them all. I did not realize how deep this goes.
I thought that you would have gotten all the things I got.
No, I guess not. I assumed I had gotten them.
I also spent, I think this is worth bringing up. If you want to do all of it, like let's say you go through it and play it, you get the right thing every single time. It'll take about 50 minutes. If you want to do everything, every single choice, every single line, it'll be about 3 hours that you spend with this.
Okay, I spent like an hour and a half about with it.
Yeah, like because a lot of the time is spent like going back and doing the flashbacks and everything, like getting you up to that decision.
Yeah.
Like if you want to do the whole thing, that might be like 2.5, 3 hours. Yeah. Like it can take a really long time, but I highly recommend it if you want to like really see everything that they accomplished and everything, all the work they put into it with how deep this can go. It's going to take like 2.5 hours, which is so worth it in my opinion, because it's just interesting to see.
Yeah. All right, let's hop into the technical then.
Again, the shots were so seamless when the clock was running down.
Yep.
Like how it kept, like it forces you, like when you select it, it doesn't immediately go because that would be jarring.
Yeah.
It makes the clock run down because then it kind of transitions into what you're going to do.
Yep.
But then even sometimes when you reach a dead end and your choices come up, it's not just like a black screen, like choose this or choose this, like go back. It's like the computer screens will have the choices on them.
And it's like, which part do you want to go back to?
Mm-hmm. The other thing, the other technical side, they introduced the score with your music choice. Like how, what do you want to listen to? I think I'm going to do the Thompson Twins.
Yep.
Chose the Thompson Twins. Yes, it was during that scene, but then also when you're walking into the record store, that's also what's playing. Like,
oh yeah,
you're listening to that again. So they kind of like reconfigure the episode. Like, obviously that's all post-production anyway, so it wasn't like needed during the shot. But like the idea that during post-production they kind of reintroduce some of the choices based on like again, just the programming that has to go into that of like, what are you listening to now?
Yeah, it's like an entirely full motion video game.
Yeah, and then like depending on what serial you choose, like when you pop in the VCR, that's like the commercial that plays at the beginning when you pop in that VCR.
What'd you choose?
Oh, I chose my Frosted Flakes.
So did I. You mean Frosties?
Are they Frosties or Frosted Flakes?
Frosties.
I don't know what Frosties are.
It's Frosted Flakes in England.
It's still got Tony the Tiger though.
Oh yeah. My
big furry king.
Mate, they're fucking deluxe.
Yeah. It's Lux, mate.
They're deluxe, mate.
Is that what they say?
No.
They're Lux. I don't know.
They're the fucking balls, mate.
But then depending on like when you're at the record store, what record you choose is also the soundtrack when you're like designing the game.
Yep.
Which is fucking like both soundtracks were perfect for it.
Just awesome, yeah.
Like I went with Phaedra.
Me too.
Because that like really hit that like retro video game like coding thing.
I just like the album art better.
Yeah, I liked the album art. I didn't know any. I knew the Thompson Twins.
I knew the Thompson Twins, but that's what I chose for that too. But the one thing that I wish is like, I wish there was like a percentage chart. I'm sure they'll release those numbers after this thing has been out for like a month or whatever.
Yeah, how many people did this?
But like, yeah, like what percentage of people made this decision? What percentage of people made this decision? But I guess that's kind of hard if you can go back so much.
Yeah, I would assume it's got to be done like right after, and I just don't think they're gonna do. That's all. They already did so much fucking work.
I know. It's just that kind of stuff is fun to see.
I wish, or not. I wish. I hope this doesn't get in the way of normal Black Mirror, though.
No,
I want Black Mirror to continue as just a series because. I don't know. It's a lot of investment to always do this. I don't want to like. I don't think in the future. I don't want everything to be the choose your own.
No, and I don't think it will be at all. I don't think this is going to take over the future. I think it's going to be sort of in the way like VR is, where it's like it's not completely replacing gaming. It's just like an alternate way to do this thing.
Yeah, that's kind of like my desired outcome with it.
And I would love it if it were like in between Black Mirror seasons. This is like, you know, they buy themselves another gap year by putting out one of these.
Yeah.
Or it's like a Sherlock thing where it's like the seasons are continuing as normal and then they'll just, here's a special one we've been working on it for. They got to take so long to write, and he's also got to write the seasons of the show still.
That's why I think he's an actual insane person who may have actually killed his family and we just don't know about it yet.
Good chance. I think it might be Charlie Brooker. I think you're right. And I think this might be a story about him.
I think he killed his family. I think it's
someone get the bobbies to his house.
He's get
done
the
wrong.
Bobbies. He's broken Her Majesty's law. I just don't I don't want this to get in the way of Black Mirror as I'd love it if they did, Black Mirror comes out, I don't know, usually sometime in early in the year. Mm-hmm. It kind of comes out January, February. Yeah. And then this is a mid-year or an end of the year release. Yeah. And then Black Mirror continues after. Mm-hmm. I don't want it to be one or the other. This year we just did one interactive episode and you have to wait an extra year for more Black Mirror. Yeah, because I'd rather have more Black Mirror.
Yeah, I'd rather have more seasons of it, and I don't think that's gonna change. I think this was a test thing, and if they do another one, do not do the same story. Do not make it connected. Make it something entirely different. And I think they will, just because it is Black Mirror. But you can't strike gold on this twice with that story. You can the concept works. Put it somewhere else.
Yeah,
and I think they will, just because that's how their episodes work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they've never gone back to an idea.
Right.
I think they might end up maybe next season, season 5, they might go back to a previous concept and show a different perspective on it, or maybe try and connect it a little bit more, but in a totally different storyline. Yeah. I think they might do that. But I don't, yeah.
But either way, this was it's a special
I loved that they called it a Black Mirror event.
Yeah.
Just to very much be
and I think that tells you everything you need to know about if this is going to become the new thing or not. This isn't Black Mirror. This is a special thing set in that tone.
Yeah, exactly. And what a great tone for it.
The best it could have been.
I fucking love Black Mirror. You were hounding me on it for a long time.
Yeah. And it was just, no, it's fucking stupid. I'm never going to watch it.
I don't think I said that at all.
Everyone talks about it and I'm sick of it. It's stupid and it's just Twilight Zone.
I don't think I said that at all.
In my mind, you did.
I love Twilight Zone.
In my mind, you took a big old boo all over it.
No, I think I just said I'm watching other things right now. Or maybe I'm too busy.
You just lied to everyone's face.
Nope. I think you just lied to everyone's face.
Nah.
I think you did. Says the one drinking a lemon LaCroix.
What does that have to do with the content of my character?
Everyone knows liars drink LaCroix. It's in the name.
No, it isn't.
It's subliminal.
Tyler, you're a known liar. 90% of what you say to people on a daily basis is not entirely truthful. It's not a white lie.
Yeah, it's not entirely truthful, but what you're spewing right now are baseless claims.
I was going to say hate speech. That's not what I meant to say.
Tori spews hate speech all day. 90% of what comes out of his mouth is absolute hate speech. He hears people speaking Spanish in public. He's one of the people that freaks out.
Tyler, why would you ever insinuate something like this to the people on camera? That's not a cool thing to do to your friend. Get us out of here, probably.
I think that's probably for the best. Thank you so much for tuning in to our Spoilercast. If you have anything you'd like to add, any pathways that you found in Bandersnatch that you found interesting, any little plot points that you found were interesting and you want to discuss, we'd love to have that discussion because we're super fucking into this. Yep. So drop a comment on...
Let's get a conversation going.
Let's get a conversation going. Get us thinking about things that we maybe have never thought of with it. So drop your comments, drop your likes. Also, if you like this kind of spoiler cast thing, this is only the second one we've done because we were kind of compelled as this is perfect.
The other one was Detroit Become Human, so check that one out as well.
But if you kind of like this format, let us know if this is something you'd be interested in watching in the future. We'll try and be more active in talking about more of these things. Maybe we'll do it with films or TV shows or something like that.
Yeah.
But just kind of let us know what you think of the series, and then tell your friends. Hit that fucking notification bell. Actually, you don't need to do that. You just probably need to subscribe. That'd be cool.
That'd
be fine. I have no problem with you not hitting the notification bell. That would get severely annoying.
It's 2019. We're in the hashtag year of.
Well, by the time this goes up, it's almost 2019.
What?
This is probably going up before 2019.
2019's tomorrow.
No, 2019 is 3 days from now.
In this timeline.
Fuck. See you next time.
I gotta say, this episode is probably the best Crash Bandersnatch game of all time.
How long were you holding on to that for?
Like 15 minutes.
Crash Bandersnatch with his girlfriend, Coco Smelly Snatch. Thanks for watching.